Alright, so for the last video of this series, we're going to diverge off of super evolution materials and just talk about straight up the gemming. Because in the last video, we covered what we wanted to do with Dark Mona specifically, and there was a specific goal in mind, and that's what we gemmed her for. That's where we put her. And what you have to remember with any Astromon in Monster Super League is you have to go, where do I want this Astromon to work for me? What do I want them to do? Okay? And a lot of that comes down to the differences between PvE and PvP. So, as a great example, I have on the screen, we have my Light Saren, and I want to use her as another example of where I'm going to use her and how I'm going to gem her, because those questions and those answers are very specific to whether or not the Astromon is, a little more viable or things like that. Again, go back and watch the last video, and we said, hey, all I want to do is use Dark Mona for farming super evolution materials. So we not only built a team that could support her to do that, we also built her gems to support her doing as much damage as possible. Now that doesn't shift very much for, let's say, boss battles with PvE, and it doesn't necessarily shift too much with PvP. However, the gems you will do for PvP might be will definitely take a little bit different turn than you would for what I showed in that video. And that's kind of why I'm making this again, to point out the differences in my logic with that. Your evaluation of the Astromon is still the same. You're still going to see what type it is. Like, again, Saren, for instance, is a defender, so she has more defense. You're always going to come down then and look at their abilities. What does her normal attack look like? What does her active skill look like? And that's always going to influence the gems that you put on there. However, in the case of PvP, you're going to change up your mindset a little bit, because I wouldn't be building a, let's say, Light Saren here to be a clearing Astromon for farming super evolution materials. First of all, she doesn't deal damage to the enemy team she heals, so that's out of the question. Second of all, she's not an attacker. Her attack is, she's not going to be taking anybody out, right? So you can already see what this is, a support Astromon. So you have to build her in that support way. And how is she, and that's just where that goes. So with that said, I'm going to focus this video on to doing what I want to do with my Light Saren, which is I want to test her out more in PvP. So I want to bring her back since she got her super evolution, and I want to gem her for PvP. Once again, you do what we just talked about. We evaluate her. She's a defender. Her HP is pretty low, which sucks, so we're going to have to compensate for that, but she's got defense. She's a defender. So she's going to be able to reduce the damage that comes into her. And that's the difference between a tank Astromon and a defender. Whereas a tank has high HP to be able to take the full-blown hit, the defender has the lower HP but the high defense to be able to reduce the hit. So they work in, you got to think of it, they work in tandem like that, okay? But for PvP's sake, we do want to pad her health a little bit, because there are still Astromon that can come out there and one-shot her, okay? So this is something to take into consideration. So again, high defense. You could make the argument, well, we want to make her healing a little bit, so as far as gem considerations, you might do a little bit more recovery, but she heals just fine. And again, I've tested that. She heals just fine with no recovery gem. I have no recovery gem on her. We'll cover these in here in a second, but she's healing just fine. But let's again look at her abilities. This is where, again, we talked about, does the gems actually support what she is doing here? And we can make one argument for a Gem of Siphon set, just like on Dark Mona from the last video. Morale boost. If Light Saren had a Gem of Siphon, she'd be gaining 75% of her own SP when she attacks, letting her heal more often and put this shield up here. If you're curious as to why I said my Light Hanahime is a little superior to the Light Saren, it's because this is proportional to Saren's max level, which is 60, versus Hanahime's says it's proportional to her max HP. You will listen to me giggle every single time I get my Hanahime shield off, because it's that powerful. That doesn't mean that this isn't as powerful. This is a little less powerful, but still gets the job done. So again, looking at this, only a Gem of Siphon set would really help her out here. Okay, so that means that these gems can really be up to me to determine this. Now, again, I said PvP. There's a lot of things that can come out in PvP that are bad, just like out in the when you're farming. You can get stunned, you can get defense down, you can get attack down, you can get recovery down, you can get sapped. All of that stuff can happen. So with that in mind, thinking of going against enemy teams in the arena, I'm going to try and boost up her resistance. And again, this is all up for debate. We'll cover all the different gem types in my opinion about that. And that's, again, this is my opinion. But for what I am choosing here, I am choosing to try and raise her resistance up as much as possible to prevent that stuff. I also want to pad her health because, as you can see, with the gems I'm going to be using, she's already sitting well over the 10,000 defense. She's going to reduce the damage coming in. I need her to have more health, though, to pad the fact that she can still be hit very hard for a crit from a dark type Astromon, okay? So let's now cover the gems. So, as I said, I want to pad the HP. I gave her HP percent. Now we work completely into what she is. As a defender, we want more defense. So she has 2 defense percent gems here. And like I said, this is where that debate will come into. Well, we could forego the defense and just make it so that she could heal better. So I know I have a recovery somewhere. I could add a recovery in here. More healing, great, right? But I'm looking at it as this is reducing the damage coming in, right? So the Gem of Conviction helps with the resist, using 1 gem for HP, using 2 other gems to boost her defense, and she has performed quite well, I would say. Again, I have already tested her out, and she has done pretty well as far as healing and getting her shield up, but I have not come across 2 hard meta teams yet to go about this. So let's talk though then about the differences where, okay, you used a Conviction set, but wouldn't an SP Drain set be better? Of course it could be, and we already talked about this. This gem set could help very well with her getting her heals up, getting her heals off more often, getting that shield up. 100% a Gem of Siphon set could be worthwhile in here. A Bastion set is useless. I don't see the point of putting a 15,000 shield to pad that. She doesn't get any benefit out of that. HP drain here, 20%. Sure, she heals herself every time she attacks, but still not really high on the totem pole. Gems of Ruin, don't care about her damage. Don't care about her crit rate. Don't care about her attack percent. So all of those go out. Recovery percent, Gems of Vitality. I'll be honest with you guys, I have yet to see any argument on any Astromon, especially recovery Astromons that are your healers, where this is worthwhile. Again, I could be wrong. I don't see this doesn't benefit me here. Yes, this would count for the healing on her, but there are better gems, and like I said, I take more priority in the ability to resist stuff than I do her healing, because she can't heal if she's taunted, stunned, petrified, all those other things, right? So this has more priority than trying to increase her healing. Again, we're talking strictly with PvP. Now, here's a good gem that it would work. This would be number 3 on the list. So again, Conviction and Siphon are 1 and 2. Gem of Protection comes in at 3 because it just boosts her defense. Once again, the higher your defense, the less damage you take. There is an argument that could be made with this gem set. Going here, though, on like a Gem of Life, this is a close 4th, and it's just because of the HP percent. Again, I wanted her to have more HP so she could take a hit. This set bonus gets here. But once again, gotta go back to why I'm talking about this in the first place. Doesn't matter how much HP she has, or she's not doing anything for my team if she's taunted, if she's petrified, if she's stunned, shocked, cursed, all this other stuff. You're not offsetting the bonus here to the Conviction set. However, this still has a good spot here, and I think we've rounded the horn as far as talking about those gems. So that's kind of where I sit with this Astromon. Is that's again evaluating the Astromon, evaluating their skills, and also knowing where you're going to put this Astromon. That does not mean that as she is gemmed right now, if I go put her out there on a team that is farming, she's still going to heal and she's still going to put up a shield for my team. 100%. She's still beneficial even with this gems. However, with these gems, she is more focused on doing more things in the arena than she is out there. And to end this video off, I'm going to talk about two other Astromon really quickly that is, again, what goes into your evaluation. And we'll do this quickly. So we have Odin here, right? She's a tank. She has a crap ton of base HP. Awesome, right? But what is her kit? What is she working at? Well, she has Adrenaline, which allies get healed equal to 10% of her own max HP. Again, keep that in mind, max HP. She also, with her attack, has Aggression. Attack power becomes proportional to own max HP. We have two abilities that go off of her maximum HP. So in this case, the 48,000 plus the 105,000 you see here for a total of 153,000 HP are both going to affect her abilities. So that easily makes us come over and go, okay, well, everything is HP percent here with her. Yeah, look what we do. HP percent, and using the Gem of Life for an additional 20% HP. So this was an easy choice for me because her abilities play completely off how much health she has. So the gems I chose here, you notice they're no different from there's no change. They're all HP percent. So that's again evaluating an Astromon to know that the gems you choose will affect their skills completely. The only gems, going back to Light Saren, that are going to affect these abilities is if we use a Gem of Siphon, because we want her to have more SP building up, because this works with her morale boost. Having more chances to go up and get heals in the shield is again why that is an argument as a gem set towards the conviction set. So I said I'd use another Astromon, and I'm just going to use my Hanahime here as the last example. Once again, same process. Tank, we know HP is high, needs to be high, but again, we go down here. What does she got again? Aggression HP. Well, what's her shield say? Shield to proportional to own max HP. So again, this is that evaluation process. I use her in PvP, but notice I'm not using a conviction set with her. I'm using nothing but Siphon sets because I want Hanahime healing and getting that amazing big shield out every time. So the ASP drain here to me is justified, but HP percent, okay? And that is all working towards her aggression and the shield that she has to put her up over 154,000 HP. She has more HP than my Light Odin, okay? So hopefully that shows you the way that this gets really into a deeper conversation, as well as something to talk about with you guys. That again, this is all subjective. What I just showed on Hanahime might not be what somebody else does on their Hanahime, and versus somebody else, right? This is not a be-all end-all. I'm just trying my best to maximize the potential in these Astromon, and again, I have to test more for my Light Saren here, but so far this has worked pretty decently. So again, I know these videos kind of can go on like that, but you got to understand there's a lot that has to be unwound here to show you guys. But hopefully that is helpful. Again, put comments down below if you have questions, if you disagree as well, if you think something needed to be changed. Again, we're here for a conversation, and again, we want to have it civil, and it's agreeing to disagree. So not everything I say, again, is the be-all end-all. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope all these videos have helped, and I will see you in the next one.